Ooh, Nathan, you excited
Hell yeah.
for the A24 episode?
Of course.
Dude, I am fucking stoked. I'm actually curious, what is your favorite film from A24?
I actually brought it with me.
Yeah?
Madagascar 3.
Madagascar 3!
Yeah.
Europe's Most Wanted.
Yeah, you see, it even says there. Easily the best one yet. I agree.
Nathan, do you know what I meant when I said A24 films?
Honestly, I was watching Madagascar while we were in that meeting, so I wasn't really paying attention.
Okay, fuck it, let's just film the episode.
Welcome back to the Real Talk Podcast, episode 83. Wait,
84.
84, god damn it.
83,
I
baby.
titled it wrong. It's 85.
You know what it was? It's because you looked at A24 and you were
Yeah.
like, oh, that's the number. Wait a minute. No, that's the studio name.
84.
Yeah.
We are going to be discussing A24 films.
Yeah.
A24 as a studio. You know, in recent years, they've emerged as a top studio and really putting out, I would say, like really unique and creative content.
Yeah. It reminds me of like when I was a little kid, like, you know how Adult Swim showed a variety of different shows
Yeah.
that you never saw before?
Yeah, that's very true.
It's giving me this vibe too, because like they're just going all out with a lot of these filmmakers and seeing like what they can do. You know, these aren't big budget films. These aren't $100 million pictures. These are like 5 million, 10 million, and seeing like what a director can do with that type of money and seeing if it'll attract anybody within the market, which I really love because I can name a ton of filmmakers that have worked with A24 and have made great films and will continue to make some great films, you know? So I don't know. What are your first impressions of A24 as a company?
So you had the idea for this episode. I hadn't seen too many A24 films, but what I'll say is the ones I had seen, I loved.
Yeah.
Uncut Gems. Uncut Gems I rank
Yes.
really high in like honestly in all-time films. Like
Yeah.
I love that movie. I remember the week I saw it on Netflix, I must have watched it 4 or 5 times within 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
Because I never saw a film that stressed me out so much internally.
Yes.
And there was something about that where I was like, how the fuck does a movie give me this feeling, right? And on the second watch, it gave it to me. And it's just like such a, just a masterclass of pacing. And I was kind of obsessed with that. And I was also obsessed with Adam Sandler playing that dramatic role.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Other ones I had seen were mid-90s, which I love because I grew up skateboarding. So it's like, I didn't grow up in the 90s, but I kind of related to a lot of the stuff that they talked about. What else? I had seen Ex Machina, but I rewatched that because I think I'd seen it back in 2014.
Right.
That these movies are all just like unique ideas. They're just, which is what I love. And yeah, the studio just seems to be a breath of fresh air. That's kind of my initial reaction to watching some A24 films.
Yeah, same here. I mean, like I remember like hearing word of mouth when it came to like these types of movies because I feel like when I first got introduced to a few of these movies, I didn't really know what to expect. It was just complete word of mouth. Like Moonlight was word of mouth.
That's one
for
I
me.
still gotta see.
I watched that with my mom. It was beautiful, very emotional. Has a lot. You know, I want to see more of Barry Jenkins' work because I believe he directed another film after this. But that's what I mean. Like you get introduced to these filmmakers and you're just like, holy shit. Like Greta Gerwig or Ari Aster or the Safdie brothers with Uncut Gems and Good Time, you know? It's like recently the Daniels.
The Daniels, yeah.
The Daniels, they went from directing the music video Turned Down for What?
No way they
Yeah,
directed
they did.
Turn Down
They
for
did.
What?
They did. They went from that to
Shout out Little John.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. They went from that music video to what is it? A 9-10 time winning Oscar movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once. One
Wow.
best picture, best director. Like
Yo,
shit, man.
that's crazy, eh?
That's what
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Did they do other music videos?
That's the only one I know that's the most popular.
like a
they
big-
did like
yeah.
Adult Swim sketches too.
Oh, cool.
That's what I mean. Like you go from that to like this very emotional all out creative film that is just thrown in your face and moves so fast yet has so much going on. It's like that's that's what I like. But in contrast to like a movie like that, Everything Everywhere All at Once, you get other films that are like David Lowery. He directed The Green Knight, and even before that, A Ghost Story. Films that are like very like I wouldn't even describe them as quiet. I would just say they're very personal.
Mm-hmm.
Very personal, especially in this day and age where you get so many films that are so big and so
Yeah.
like they have to appeal to every single person. It's so nice when a filmmaker's like, this is what I made, like this is what I feel, this is my life. I'm gonna show it to an audience, and it's gonna be a lot more intimate that way.
What's cool about A24 is like A24 is like with other studios you feel like they almost have a type or genre of film that they mostly make.
Mm-hmm.
And with A24 it's like kind of all over the place. Like the
Yeah.
creativity is like in different genres of film and they have different tones and they take it feels like they're one of the few studios out here taking chances on films.
Yeah, honestly, and don't get me wrong, like not all their films are hits.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's what happens when you take chances.
Exactly.
But that's how film should be.
Exactly. Every studio is going to have their fair share of dog shit films.
Of course.
The issue that I feel like modern studios have been doing recently is relying so much on these big budget films that if it doesn't do well, that affects everything. So instead of like splitting your budget of $100 million to maybe 5 or 6 different movies, which is possible,
Yeah.
it's not like it isn't possible in this day and age, especially with like the conveniences of like depending on which locations you shoot at and whatnot. Instead of just putting it all in one movie and it bombing,
Yeah.
you just ruined not ruined, but you just wasted all that money on something that you could have made 5 great films out
And
of.
then your slate changes, your upcoming slate changes because you're trying to recoup and you're going to take fewer chances. And it's like, yeah, to me, it's a much better method is what you said. Splitting that money, hedging your bets,
Yeah.
hoping one or two of them hit, and those will kind of pay for everything else.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how you get creativity. Film is about chances.
I totally agree with
Yeah,
that.
That's how you push film forward. You have to take chances.
And they're still making films right now. Like I'm hearing so many good things about Beau is Afraid. I think that was Ari
really
Aster's
got to go
newest
see
film.
that.
It's a 3-hour movie.
I don't know if you saw like they had a showing at that Martin Scorsese and him spoke at afterwards.
Oh hell yeah.
And Martin Scorsese was like saying how it's a really incredible film and also like his first three like he was
Yeah.
really praising Ari,
Yeah.
which was really cool to see him
That's-
get his flowers already.
That's really nice because I just got recommended a video on YouTube about Ari Aster and the Safdie brothers talking about Scorsese's short films that he made when he was a
Really?
college.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'd like to see that.
And he was like talking about the documentary he had where he was just interviewing his parents, Scorsese's parents and
yeah.
stuff. And they were like talking about how different his dad is to his mom and how his mom is more outspoken and stuff. And his dad's just like, what are you doing? And she's like, what do you mean? He's like, why are you talking like that? Just talk how you talk with me.
I've seen that.
And it's just, yeah.
It's amazing.
And they were talking about how it's like his dad is literally directing, like,
Yeah.
and we're not. It's just this unconscious like attitude towards it all that's so beautiful.
It is.
So it's kind of cool, full circle, how Ari Aster got that compliment from Scorsese.
I gotta go see Beau is Afraid. That's
Yeah.
one I'm not gonna let slip out of theaters. I gotta get in there and see that movie.
What a weird turn too, compared to Midsummer and Hereditary. Right?
Yeah. Hereditary.
Oh,
First of all, holy fuck.
it's great.
My girlfriend actually put me on that movie, and
Wow.
man, that's one of the scariest movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, that'll fuck you up.
That's one of the most scary and fucked up movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, really love that. Toni Collette, holy shit, she gives an amazing performance. That performance, like, it's like the amount of energy you have to put into a role like that is so much fucking work.
Yeah. That's one of those movies you never forget.
No.
You never forget. Like, there's some movies that I, like, a couple years go by and I kind of forget the plot of or whatever. Hereditary is just one that just sticks in your head.
Yeah, absolutely. What was the other film that you said you watched? I never saw the Pearl or X movies.
So, yeah, I watched Pearl as well a couple months back.
Yeah.
And it's another one of those real unsettling movies.
Yeah.
It moved a little too slow for my liking, I'd say.
Okay.
But it was shot really beautifully. Like really beautifully. Like the shots are amazing.
Nice.
And what's the actress's name? Do you know?
Mia Goth.
She's great. Like what a performance.
Yeah.
But film was a little slow and a little out there too out there for me, but I'd definitely say it's one worth watching.
Okay. I definitely want to check that out. I don't know the director's name, but I've heard a lot of great things about X. I heard a lot of crazy things about Pearl. Bringing back to Scorsese, he said it was like, oh, this is like the scariest horror film ever made and stuff.
Yeah, it's like one of those where there's not. It's like Skinamarink, I'd say.
Oh, I
Not
see.
that slow.
No, yeah,
But
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like not a lot's happening, but something could be happening, and it makes you. It's like an unsettling feeling
Yeah.
versus like it's not a jump scare film.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just looking at more of these films from A24, and I always get surprised because I found out that they've worked with Apple TV, they've worked with other streaming platforms to get these films made.
Yeah, they got a couple of deals now. I'm pretty sure the upcoming Iron Claw, starring Zac Efron as a wrestler, is going to Apple TV. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am interested in that. Just hearing Zac Efron playing a 80s, 70s wrestler.
Yeah, that's what it
Huh.
is. Playing like a 70s era like working wrestler.
Okay. I like that aesthetic because nobody has really covered wrestling all that much. I see
No,
a
not
couple
like
things here and
that.
there,
Yeah.
but no, yeah.
I think that's some untouched area there, and I think Zac Efron could play that off pretty well.
Okay. Cool, cool. I'm just another one that I remember seeing on Apple TV, which was also A24, was The Tragedy of Macbeth. That's Joel Coen, one of the Coen brothers. Right off the bat, when you hear that, it's just like, okay, I'm in for a fucking great movie. And it's just Macbeth. Denzel Washington, Frances McDormand are
I
in
gotta
it.
see that
It's so good. The way it looks, it's black and white, 4:3.
because I like Macbeth like as a story.
Yeah, as a story, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see the Fassbender version of Macbeth?
No, I didn't.
Okay, I hear that one's really good too. So like these interpretations, it's just I don't know, when you get a really good fucking performance and just the
Yeah.
overall distinct look to it, then you're in for a great Shakespeare adaptation.
Yeah, that's all you could do. It's
Yeah.
like distinct performances and like a look, like a vibe. That's what all you could do with a Shakespeare. Like everybody knows the story, but it's like
Yeah.
to make it stand out and also not stray from the source material is the challenge, right?
That's really good. Mid-90s too. Like you mentioned that before.
It's
I
awesome.
remember watching that film, and like a couple gripes I have are more just like the main character looks like a toddler
Yeah.
playing a middle schooler. I'm like, okay, you could have cast someone. And then his brother looks like he's 30.
Yeah, the casting wasn't the best.
No, but for a feature debut from Jonah Hill,
That's his first, right?
that's his first.
Yeah, he did a good fucking job.
Honestly,
man.
good for him, man. I like
He did a
his,
good job, and not only that, it's very like you could tell it's very him. All the details,
yeah.
and, like the small stuff from the '90s, the small like pop culture references they make, or even stuff that's in the background, and even like the skateboarding stuff that's happening at the time. They
Yeah.
all reference that, and you could tell that like this film is a representation of Jonah Hill's childhood, which
Oh.
I really love when a director's life comes across in a film.
Absolutely, and especially the dialogue too. I felt like was more natural than like your typical Degrassi or like
Extremely,
those
yeah.
high school shows where it just sounds like an
Yeah,
old person writing dialogue for
yeah.
kids. It's like, hey, Bo, what are you doing here? It's like in the mid-90s, when
Felt
they're insulting
natural,
each
right?
other. Yeah,
It felt like these are really some just kids hanging out versus
Yeah.
like this forced high school dialogue, like you're saying, like most movies have.
oh yeah. But speaking of coming of age films from A24, have you ever watched Eighth Grade?
No, eighth
Real-
grade.
That's Bo Burnham's feature debut.
Oh, really?
Bo Burnham is fucking hilarious.
Eighth grade.
He's a great comedian. I saw his stand-up special, well, stand-up Netflix thing where he was like during COVID, he was in his apartment and he just does every single creative joke that I could think of in a scenario like that. It's just fuck, man. I
Yeah.
don't know. But his feature was Eighth Grade, which is a coming of age film, and I like that a little bit more than mid-90s. I feel like
I gotta check this.
they
one out.
had that awkwardness when you're in eighth grade.
Right.
so
That's an
well.
awkward time of like everybody's life. Right?
Yeah, but it's like when somebody tries to capture that type of feeling,
It's extremely hard to do.
It's so fucking hard because
Yeah.
it's like it's all about the performance. It's all about how you direct the scene
Yeah.
and handle it. And
Because everybody knows what that feels like,
Mhm.
but
how do you
it's-
describe it?
How do you describe it?
Yeah, fucking totally agree. But the way they do it in that film, I highly recommend that one. I think it's on Crave or one of those.
Yeah, it
streaming
looks like it's on
platforms.
Crave here. Yeah,
That's really good too.
it's got some good reviews. I want to check that one out for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 8th grade. So one you did recommend to me because I asked you because I hadn't
Yes.
seen some of these films.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, all right, now I got a couple days before we record.
Mm-hmm.
Let me know which ones I should prioritize. And you mentioned Good Time
Oh my
because
god.
I said I loved Uncut Gems.
Yes.
And let me tell you the story of me watching Good Time. So my girlfriend stayed over my place, and we started this pretty late. We started this after the Leafs game,
Okay.
and she kind of falls asleep, fades away like halfway through.
Right. Okay.
And so I'm left there for this anxiety fucking.
She slept midway into Good Time.
Yeah.
Damn, that's fucking impressive. Like that's like sleeping through an explosion in the next room. It's just like, whoa, what's that noise?
Yeah, so she's like, kind of fading, and I'm into it now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like Robert Pattinson's performance immediately grabs me. I'm like, whoa,
Yeah.
this motherfucker can act.
Oh, absolutely.
So I'm into it. I'm like having a fucking panic attack the whole movie,
Yeah.
and then the movie ends, and I'm just fucking staring at my ceiling, trying to go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And my girlfriend's like, what's wrong? You can't sleep? And I'm like, no, I'm having a fucking heart attack.
Yeah.
You have no idea what I just watched.
Oh, exactly.
I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight.
Holy fuck, man.
That movie is a heart attack of a film.
Yes.
The Safdie brothers are just masters at fucking making you feel like you're having a heart attack.
Anxiety.
Like anxiety. Yeah. The pacing of Uncut Gems and this film, I think even more so somehow, which I didn't even know was possible.
Mm-hmm. I
Had me
fully
stressed, man.
fully agree with that. I like how distinct their style is now.
It's great.
You can just tell it's a Safdie brothers film. I think one of the Safdie brothers acts in the movie actually. Good Time.
Really?
Yeah, I think he plays the mentally disabled brother in that one.
Oh,
In Good Time.
really?
Yeah. He's a great actor, by the way. I saw him in Licorice Pizza too. Holy shit, man! I think he's in some Star Wars thing too because I saw a post with him and a lightsaber.
No
I'm like,
way.
oh, they got this guy too. He's a Jedi now.
Yo, these two films though have absolutely sold me on these Safdie brothers, and I will look for anything that these guys are putting out in the future.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't seen Good Time or Uncut Gems,
Yeah.
watch it, but don't watch it before you go to bed because you're not going to sleep.
Shout out to the soundtracks of both films. Dude, those soundtracks fucking slap. I listen to
Hit
those
hard.
Yeah. It's like that nice techno orchestra that they got going on.
Only adds to the anxiety.
Yes, absolutely.
The shots, like you mentioned, like the
Close-ups.
close-ups.
Yeah.
The close-ups, the music, the pacing, everything is just like this cocktail of anxiety.
Yeah. When the guy's telling his story of how he got into the situation to Robert Pattinson, that whole sequence with the
Holy
music and the
shit.
pace and the shots, it's like, oh,
Wow.
man.
Yeah.
That's how you fucking do a story. It's like, let me tell you a fucking story. And then it just goes right into it. I'm like, ah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I really, really think that these guys are doing it right. Like the Safdie brothers are some of the best directors out right now.
Absolutely. I'm looking at more films. There is this one director. I still need to watch his films. Sean Baker. I don't know if that name rings a bell.
No.
He did The Florida Project. He recently did Red Rocket. And all these films, the way I like this style, this is what I mean about like filmmakers like Greta Gerwig, Ari Aster, Safdie brothers. What's the guy? Robert Eggers too, with the Lighthouse and shit and the Northman.
Yeah.
Every single one of them, you know it's their film. You know how fucking distinct it is. And with Sean Baker, the thing I really liked about that style, from what I read, was he casts a lot of people that aren't really actors.
That's cool. It's always cool when directors do that.
To get that authenticity.
And pull it off.
Yeah, to get that authenticity, because he notices, and I'm assuming a lot of filmmakers do the same, where it's like, I'm trying to get this performance out of this person, but it doesn't feel natural. Let me just talk to someone who hasn't acted.
Yeah. Sometimes it's too much acting, or the acting is too good.
Yeah.
It almost feels unnatural, right?
You almost forget about that, because like that, there is a world of method, but then there's another world of like, you are who you are. I want you in this film. And it's like, well, what do you want me to do? It's just be yourself, man. I want to see how it looks on film. And it's like, whoa, you didn't expect it. It's the unexpected and capturing that moment that I really fucking love in all of these movies.
Yeah, like that's a scary thing to do, cast people with no experience.
Yeah.
But when it works, fuck, it works.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's something I wish I would want to pull off, because it's like, I really want to do it, but at the same time, it's like, it doesn't always work.
Doesn't always work. You
You're
also
taking a chance.
you have to be a good director, and you
Yeah.
have to be a director that knows how to work with actors.
Exactly.
And that comes with experience, right? Like some directors, some great directors, just that's not their thing.
Yeah. No, it's not for everyone.
Some great directors like don't really work with actors, and they like to look at the bigger picture and kind of let the actors do whatever.
Yeah.
But some actors can just get these performances out of people that often there's some like performances you see from an actor, and then you've never seen them do like something like that ever.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's probably the director.
Oh, absolutely. It's so crazy when you say that because it's like, yeah, a lot of these performances, like Robert Pattinson, when he's given good material.
Whoa.
Yeah.
He's a fucking actor.
I feel like Good Time was the one movie that people noticed. Like, hey, wait a minute, this Twilight guy, he's actually really fucking good.
Yeah, and I missed that shit. So I was like, even leading up to the Batman, I really had no fucking clue that this guy could really act. Like my point of reference was mostly Twilight.
Yeah.
And then Twilight, he was in. I remember I watched this shit movie about 9/11 that he was in.
Oh, Remember Me?
Remember Me?
Yeah, that was a bad movie.
That was bad.
I feel like Robert Pattinson had to take a lot of those gigs.
So I saw like a lot of those ones that he
Yeah.
had to take. And then obviously Batman changed my opinion immediately.
Yeah.
And then watching Good Time, just he was so believable in that role.
Yeah.
that
You might enjoy The Lighthouse too. That's
when
him.
I gotta check.
That's
that
him
out.
and Willem Dafoe getting drunk as sailors in a lighthouse.
It's all black and white, right?
It's all black and white, 4x3. Robert Eggers. I love that film. I love The Witch with Anya Taylor-Joy. I think that might be my favorite film from his is The Witch because the way it's handled, it's ye old English.
Cool.
It's fucking authentic as shit.
Very
Like,
cool.
I love that. And the sound design, the sound mixing, everything, like, it creeps the fuck out of you. It's like, ooh, like something's eerie, something's happening. I won't go too much into it, but I just got to say, like, that's how I got introduced to Anya Taylor-Joy.
Oh yeah, what year did that come out?
2015. But
Oh,
I watched it
wow.
when I was like 17, so a little bit after the movie came out. But ever since then, like every performance she's made, like holy shit,
She's
Amazing.
great. She's insane. Yeah.
fucking amazing. So yeah, we could go all day talking about every single filmmaker that has worked on an A24 production.
Wow, they're just giving great young directors opportunities, and clearly it's paying off. Like
Oh, yeah.
obviously they have their duds in like
Mhm.
A24 films, but
Right.
for the most part, like the I think the studio's been around since like their earliest film is 2013.
2013, and even during that time, you look at the films and it's like, even
Spring Breakers. I
know,
remember that
Spring
one.
Breakers. Dude, Harmony Korine, man. Harmony Korine is a man that can only be covered in one episode. That guy is a fucking what is it? A can of worms, if you will, when it comes
Yes.
to directing. But yeah, that's what I mean. Like experienced directors like Harmony Korine, Sofia Coppola, Denis
Yeah, they
Villeneuve.
did a Sofia Coppola, which is interesting.
All of these directors who have done work before A24 have been given opportunities to direct films by them. And
Yeah.
it's just like it's fucking nice that it's like I'm looking at a lot of these films too. Like, yeah, I'm not watching Tusk. I'm not watching
Right.
Tusk. I get it. Tusk was produced by A24. I'm not watching. It was like dog shit.
Oh, I also got to check out the De Palma documentary that A24 made.
Yes.
and
What did you think?
It's awesome.
It's great.
It's awesome. It's really cool to get. I feel like De Palma's one of those guys that kind of gets overlooked a little bit,
Yeah.
and it's cool to like see a doc about him and really dive into who he is and his inspirations. It was really cool.
Yeah. He doesn't get talked about as much as Spielberg or
Or-
Lucas or
or the-
Coppola.
Yeah, he doesn't get talked. I think he deserves a little bit more respect than he gets.
Yeah, I completely agree. And shout out to Noah Baumbach for directing that, I believe. I think he worked on De Palma. He's another great filmmaker. I saw the Merowitz stories where he directed that with Dustin Hoffman, Adam Sandler, and Ben Stiller. They all play a family. And it's
Oh,
just
that's
like,
cool. I've never seen
it's
that.
another like dramatic role from Sandler that
Sandler in dramatic roles.
I love it, man. I want more of it.
Stop doing the comedy, Sandler. You're actually a good actor.
You could do the comedies, just make a good
Or
film.
yeah,
too.
or do a mix, right? Like it's not that I don't love Adam Sandler comedies because I do. Like some of, there's
for every Hubie Halloween, give us like an Uncut Gems movie, you know?
yeah, for exactly.
There ain't nothing wrong with that. You're getting paid. You're having a good time.
And speaking of another Uncut Gems, I know
Yes.
that Adam Sandler is working on another
Safdie Brothers.
Brothers film, and I'm gonna get the info for that because I don't want to get it
Yes.
wrong.
Awesome.
Sandler, Safdie brothers.
Other films from A24's lineup that I recently watched that I enjoyed was First Reformed. That's Paul Schrader. Shout out to Paul Schrader, another director that doesn't really get talked about a lot because he was most known for his screenplays, Raging Bull and Taxi Driver.
Whoa.
Yeah, yeah, he worked on those.
Whoa.
But he's also a great director who's worked with tons of great actors. First Reform stars Ethan Hawke, so Ethan Hawke's another actor that always gives a fucking amazing performance. Looking more into it, yeah.
New Safdie brothers,
What's the new
Adam
Safdie
Sandler
brothers
Netflix
called?
movie. Everything we know so far. Okay.
Oh, I'm
It's going to
excited.
be another Netflix exclusive. So they partnered with Netflix on this one.
Nice.
And I remember reading, okay, when it was said to be in the world of sports,
That okay.
set in the world of high-end sports card collecting.
Card collecting?
Card collecting. Isn't that an interesting little niche to make a film about?
Yeah.
But I feel like it's gonna work because Adam Sandler knows sports extremely well.
Oh yeah.
Like he's a huge sports fan.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're probably gonna do basketball or baseball because those are his sports.
Mm-hmm.
But oh, it actually says here baseball cards.
Baseball cards.
Baseball cards in New York City during the 1990s.
Oh,
That's a really specific niche, which I think is really cool.
Here's what I'm hoping for that premise, and this is just me going off that premise alone. Is I want his character and I want the story itself to not feel so much like Uncut Gems. I want it to distance itself.
Yeah.
So remember how Howard was in Uncut Gems, his
Yes.
character, where he's like, "Oh, I got to do this. I got to bet this. I got to bet that." I want this to be like he's like different in the way where he's like maybe he's calm and collective, and he gets really aggressive. He's like the anti-hero, if
Yeah.
you will. I would totally be down for an anti-hero character from Sandler.
It would be very cool. I
Yeah.
wonder if this is going to be another anxiety film.
Oh, probably.
An anxiety film about card collecting. You almost wonder with that premise, how could they do it? But watch them do it.
Anything with gambling, dude.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm like, don't put the money down. Don't put the money down.
Holy fuck.
But as I said before, we could talk about A24 films forever. I love them. I feel like more studios should learn from this studio in terms of like just take chances with filmmakers. Don't spend $400 million on movies. I don't see that as a financially necessary thing to do. You got to look at the creative aspects. That's how films have lasted so long. And that's how you make profit, is people being interested in your work. I fucking hate this. I'm not going to go too much into it, but it's like studios encouraging AI as
Yeah.
well. You're losing that connection with the people.
Yep.
The reason people watch a movie is to understand what the filmmaker wanted to show you.
Yep.
And that connection. And if we lose that connection, we will die as creatives.
100%.
Not to sound preachy, but A24, they are encouraging for creatives.
Yeah, I feel like most of the films we talked about have pretty modest budgets in
Yeah.
comparison to, and they're great films. Like,
Yeah.
modern day classics we're talking about here. And A24, I think, is the leading example of you don't need big budgets to make great films, and films can be successful with small budgets. You don't need to do we're all in on this film and we're putting a stupid budget behind it and it needs to make money. You could just kind of take some chances.
Yeah.
And that's what I really admire about A24 right now, and definitely going to be looking out for all the stuff they have going forward.
Hell yeah. Same here.
We will wrap it up there. Let us know what your favorite A24 film is in the comments. I'm interested to know. Maybe you could put me on one since I haven't seen a couple of them. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to your boys. With that, we out. Take care. Brush your hair.
Peace out.